Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of 50 Conversations with 50 Strangers. I have to tell you, the person sitting in front of me, I can't even say her name correctly. And yet, and I know that she's not from the United States. That's at least what I'm assuming from, what I've made up in the little bit that we've spoken. She's been incredibly kind because my previous conversation went too long, and so she was in the room waiting, and was as generous and kind when we got on the conversation together. And I have to apologize because I like to be on time, and so I appreciate her incredible kindness at not having that be an issue. Um, I know nothing about her, and the beauty of this is that, like our sponsor, the Mosaic. The Mosaic's a story about a boy who loses his parents 2 years apart on the same day. And when he asks the adults where his parents are, they tell him they're in a place called heaven. So the boy, as a little boy, sets out in search of the place called heaven. And the people that he meets along the route are not the people that he thinks he meets. He thinks he's going to meet clergy and shamans and medicine men and women and Aborigines elders, but he doesn't meet those people. He meets common ordinary people. He meets a road worker and a trash man and a blind woman and a homeless man and a juice man and a waitress and a street worker. And he wonders, why am I meeting these people? But the more he sits with them, the more he speaks with them, the more he listens to them, the more he starts to realize that the person he initially saw wasn't at all who they are. And when he realizes that, he wonders, I wonder what else in my life I don't see because of what I see through my own eyes without seeing what's actually there. That's what's inspired these conversations. That's what's inspired these talks. So the Mosaic is a book. It's available through Amazon. It's available on my website. And now I've fulfilled my obligations to my sponsor of talking about it. Let's just put it aside. For if you're interested, I hope you'll get it. If you're not, let's just get into conversation. The whole goal of this show is to have two strangers walk into a room who know nothing about each other and see what happens. I can honestly say that's true in this case. Aaminah, welcome to 50 Conversations with 50 Strangers. How are you today?
Thank you, Daniel. I'm doing good. How about you?
I am, to be honest, I woke up a little agitated today. There is a lot of diverse energy, excuse me. There's a lot of diverse energy going around the United States right now because of the elections that are happening. And I'm a little bit of an empath. And the Democrats held their first day of their unconventional convention because it was done all remotely. Um, and there's a lot of anxiety between different sides. And I woke up, I spent the night feeling all that anxiety, and I woke up and I had to just calm myself through my practice of meditation to just have any sense of coming back to center. But it was really interesting. But thank you for asking. Now I feel back in place. Um, how are you doing with all that's going on?
Honestly, it depends. Some days I wake up really energized and fresh, like today. I did a lot of things on my to-do list and more actually. And then there are days when I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep in bed. And when I wake up, I just beat myself up mentally. Like, you had this to do, you had that to do. And I don't know. It totally depends. I don't force myself to feel in certain way. I just, whatever comes, it comes. And I do the best I can do in that possible situation. So, yeah. But today was good.
Okay. Um, first of all, I love your honesty and I love how you just jumped in. I would love to know what about the thought of just laying in bed and not doing anything, because that's what you feel in that moment, makes you want to beat yourself up.
The night before I go to sleep, I'm just like, okay, tomorrow I have to write a post. Tomorrow I have to get up and do some household chores. I'm a religious person, so I have to read Quran, and there's sort of certain things that I prepare. And when I wake up and I don't feel like doing it, I'm like, I'll just sleep for half an hour. I wake up again, I'll start doing it again. But that doesn't happen. I wake up and I want to sleep again, I do that again. So finally, when I wake up, which is around 12 in the afternoon, it's already too late, because I'm the kind of person who likes to work in silence. So
Yes.
my brain actually starts working after 12 a.m. and by like 10 a.m. Because after 10, it's like noise everywhere. Everyone in the family wakes up. There's someone's cooking. It's the neighbors who are shouting, screaming. It's the dogs in the vicinity. So it doesn't really let me focus. And so I have to do other things which do not require me to think or to just put in my complete effort. So it really, I don't like it because now almost all of my mental energy has been wasted. And
Yeah.
if I try to focus on something that really matters to me, uh, then it's just I'm putting a lot of efforts and I'm not as productive as creative. So which is why I kind of beat myself up.
Hmm.
That's thing. And there are some days when I'm kind of like, it's okay, Amina, 1 or 2 days are perfectly all right. You need that rest, maybe that's the rejuvenation that you're requiring. So it's, yeah, fine, but that's what goes on in my head.
Love it. Where are you living? Where are you calling from? Where is this call reaching?
Mumbai, India.
Mumbai, India. Wow, beautiful. So I love that how these conversations are spreading around the world. So I love that you're here, and I love that you've come to this conversation in Mumbai. Um, what do you do, and what's important to you? Like, who are you as a person?
um as a person, I wouldn't actually give you any labels because I find labels really constricting,
Okay.
limiting. So I usually define myself by what I like to do, and I like to talk. So I've been speaking on stage since I was a little girl,
Wow.
and yeah, I've been doing that for a lot of years now. And in between, when I was in engineering college, I kind of stopped speaking on stage because I had other commitments, and I actually wanted to give other people opportunities to develop that. Uh, so that was kind of a tricky period for me, but now I'm back again. I'm speaking again. Uh, so that's why I wanted to come into conversation with you, because when you talk to people, you realize it's just you couldn't have thought about this before. Like there's so much
Yes.
knowledge, there's so much wisdom, there's so many stories, and you realize, oh my god, I connect with this person. Maybe their profession is so different from mine, or maybe they think so differently, but when you talk to them you realize we connect on so many different levels.
Wow.
We just have to unearth those are just feelings, those vibes you get, which you
Yes.
cannot express in words. You kind of have to dig deep again and again and again, and why finally when you dig deep you realize, oh my god, we're so same. And
Yeah.
that's something amazing. I love that. So I got in call with you.
So maybe knowing it, but probably not knowing it, you could be a spokesperson for the Mosaic, because the Mosaic is talking about the whole idea of, even though the pieces look so different, even though they're different sizes, even though some of them are broken and some of them are whole, even though they're different colors, even though their textures are different, even though they're from different parts of the world, when they come together, they create something so much more beautiful than what they are on their own. And there's some connection point, no matter how small that connection point is, between every piece in the mosaic. It might only be a corner to corner connection, or it might be flush up against side to side, but it doesn't matter, because when they connect, however they connect, it makes the mosaic whole. And so I love already within the first few minutes of our conversation how much resonance I feel with the way you feel in life and the connection that we already have for seemingly different people. You're a woman in Mumbai who's a Muslim, and I am a Jewish, born Jewish in America, in a white skin, and there would be so many obvious places where we could look at and say they're differences. But when we invite each other to be with each other, what we see is already within the first couple of minutes how similar we are. I love that.
Yeah.
What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Okay, I'll give you a very funny answer, like childish, and I can give you a mature answer. So for childish, it's I love food,
Okay.
I like cats, and I like my friends. And if I'm very close to someone, I'll actually talk to them in cat language, meow, meow, meow.
Oh
And
wow.
I love that. I love conversation in cat language more than I love conversation in human language, which is, I don't know, weird, but I definitely enjoy that. And a more mature answer would be um, I'm a sponge, sometimes I feel like that because I love to read, but different articles. I love to absorb knowledge via movies, videos, articles, people talking to conversing with them. And I can't stop. And it's like, I want to know everything there's out there to know. And I want to question everything. And if I'm not doing that, I feel stuck. I'm like, okay, life is too boring. I need to do something, even if it's just mental work, just figuring
Yeah.
something out. I love mysteries. So whenever there's a mystery movie or a mystery novel coming up, I'm just so excited. It makes me happy. It's like I'm uncovering some secrets and it's just helping me become a better person. So yeah, that's what makes me happy.
And I love that. And pardon me if what I'm going to say it shows my lack of intelligence or my lack of understanding. Um, but the way the religion that you follow is portrayed publicly, especially in a place like America, one would never get the sense that that's possible within that set of beliefs. And so I love not only hearing that it is possible, that you are possible, because I feel how devout you are to your belief system and how fun you are in the life that you live. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I bet there's some people who think, how is that possible? She's Muslim. Or how is that possible? She's not covered. Or how is that possible that she can be devout and still enjoy these types of things? Does that make sense to you at all?
I am so glad you asked that question. I kind of wish I had those conversations more. So, I think a lot of it has got to do with the way we think,
Yeah.
and it's definitely affected by the past as well. A past that you and I were not part of, like probably 200 years ago, 300, 400 years ago, when we weren't born, our ancestors weren't born. So when you look at a religion, you take any religion in the world, it has certain belief system, it has some values, do's and don'ts. And those are just to make sure that the followers, the people become good people. They don't turn to the wrong side of human nature, which is very tempting, you know. So just like that in Islam, there's do's and there's don'ts. And if you just look at Islam objectively, okay, don't completely remove the ideas of what Muslims are doing and just look at the religion, you will realize that it's not exactly what the real world is looking at. When you look at humans, humans are wrong. We are wrong in our nature. We make mistakes. You make mistake. I make mistakes. We probably make so many mistakes that we can't keep a track of them. Okay, and somehow our human nature creeps in, and we modify situations to our benefit. Like you said, this is a situation for us to interact, right? And you
Yes.
mentioned that don't try to sell me anything, don't try to do something like that. But if I have a thought in my head that okay, this guy has a really good following and I have a product that I think it will really benefit, so I'll talk, and somehow I will manipulate our conversation and bring up that product that I want to sell. Okay, so that is my human nature. But initially, when the rules are set by an organization, like for example Mosaic, the rules clearly say you don't have to do this, this is wrong, but I am doing this, so who's wrong? Is it the mosaic that's wrong, or is it me who's wrong? But if there are multiple people like me who have been given the same instructions, and let's say out of 10 people 2 people do this, then who are to be blamed? Are the people to be blamed or the organization to be blamed for it? So
Hmm.
there's a whole lot of questioning that needs to be done. I think the blame partly falls on Muslims and partly on non-Muslims as well for thinking this way. Muslims have, I believe, I'm not an Islamic scholar. I haven't done those research of 400, 500 years. I just look at Quran. I read it in English because I understand it much better than Arabic. And a lot of times I have read in Quran, did you not use reason? There were evidences, there were proofs. Why didn't you look at them and understand them? So the point is, my religion is actually promoting. It's telling you curiosity, question things, understand things, look around you, use your brain. What makes human beings such an amazing creature than other animals? Opposable thumbs? Sure. But it's the thing that sits between our ears. And so my religion is actually telling, use it to question and understand, look at the proofs. What we are doing is we are not actually using it. We're just manipulating the way we want.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people have taken a few concepts out of Quran and used it to their own advantage, using religion as their shield for their wrong actions. Because, hey, how would you like your actions to be blamed on you, or your actions to be blamed on your religion or your organization?
Yeah.
It acts as a shield. So people are using it as a shield, and they have been using it for years. And so what's happened is, uh, because of wrongdoings of Muslim community, an image has been formed. Okay, it's the 1% community, but it's affecting the entire
Totally.
population. Yeah, and the Muslims are not changing themselves. They are. I mean, think about it. When we talk about covering in Islam, it's for both men and women. So when you're walking on a road, it's encouraged, it's advised that both of you, men and women, look down. They don't look at each other. You might lust. But now what has happened, I think a lot of, because it might sound feminist, but a lot of men want to keep power for themselves. So like, okay, you are a woman, you look down, but I'm a man, I'm looking everywhere.
Right.
How is that a
Right.
proper situation? It's
Right.
creating imbalance. And
Totally.
doubling on that, now it's not just looking, it's wearing, it's doing. Islam promotes education. Islam for women, it promotes job for women, entrepreneurship for women. But I want to have superpower because I'm man, I need someone I can dominate on. So I'll do that with the women of my household. So yes, it's encouraged to cover yourself up, to look decent, to be decent for very good reason. That the world is a bad place, and there might be people who want lust after you. So it's for your own protection. But I think somewhere down the line, it has been made too extreme.
Yeah.
And we have to get out of that extremism. We have to question things. And the problem is, we are not questioning. A lot of the Muslim community is not questioning. They're like, okay, my religious leader that I follow has said something, and because they've said something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow them blindly. And if I question, then I'm not questioning the religious leader, I'm questioning my God. And how do I question God? God is perfect. God has never created something bad like that. And that is the problem. People are not questioning enough. People are not seeing that, okay, is this what the religion is teaching me? Or is it just a faction of a group of people who are promoting this for their own needs?
I
Is it
love.
actually right? Is it objective? Or is there some way, your own subjective perspective? Because even I was like that a couple of years ago. I was like, Islam is not a religion for me. I'm seeing this life, but I was like, I want to convert to some other religion. But then I was like, okay, before I do that, let me just open Quran. Let me read it in a language that I understand the best, I'm very comfortable with, and then let me think about it. And the more I read it once, I read it twice, I read it thrice, and I was like, oh my God, it's not my religion that's bad. It's the people who are following the religion are doing bad stuff, and now the entire religion is getting blamed for it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you just
I
look at
love
things
that.
objectively, if you question, yeah. So
Uh,
part of the blame definitely falls on Muslims, and the rest of it is like, are the other people. Now the other people are also not questioning. I'm not telling you to embrace Islam. I'm just telling you to look at objectively, look at Quran objectively, and then think, okay, is actually Quran promoting all this bad stuff, or is it the Muslims that are doing bad? But
yeah.
people are not questioning
Yeah.
because they don't want to think. Thinking is a very difficult job. So okay, if some Muslims are doing, all the Muslims in the world are doing, it means the Islam religion is bad, or it's too constricting, or it's too restrictive and oppressive, or something like that. So I think the blame falls on everyone for not questioning, for not thinking rationally.
I love that. I was recruited by a group of people who were looking for CEOs to work with CEOs and help CEOs see situations differently. The organization was called Vistage. And I ended up not going with them because of personal reasons. But one of the statements that they made, I love so much that I always reference them for it. They said, when people come to us, they think we're going to answer their questions. But instead, what we do is we question their answers. And I always love that. And it really feels to me like that's what you're saying. That if people could only have the courage to question some of the things that are their answers, to relook at even not why limit it to just a scripture. Why not start to question our own belief systems and so what are the belief systems in you that you've questioned?
First of all, I mean, belief system respect to religion or just belief system in
Believe
general?
in all things. What did you once believe really strongly that then you questioned and realized I just can't believe that anymore?
Hmm.
Is there anything?
I'm sure there are many things because over the couple of years I've been doing a lot of self-reflection. I've been changing, so it's kind of difficult to just talk about one or two. Belief systems that I've changed. Okay, so the
And
belief system that
part of why I'm asking, just to give you even a little more time, is I was on a podcast once, and my big message to the world, if I have one, is how important listening is because I don't think people get heard. And so the podcast host, who was not the sharpest tack in the garage, but um, asked me probably the most insightful question I've been asked on a podcast. And he said, Danny, why is it so important for you to help people to listen? Did you not feel heard when you were growing up?
hmm,
And I did feel heard. I had a beautiful family, but my parents passed away too soon. And
oh,
so I couldn't, when I tried to say what I felt to people who had parents, as much as they wanted to understand me, they couldn't really understand because they didn't know the situation that I was in. And he was 100% right. So part of the reason why that was important to me was because of I didn't have it. So in similar vein, why is what you say so important to you? Why is it so important that we question the things that we are being told? Did you feel like you never weren't able to do that? What do you feel like there's belief systems you have now that you still want to question? Do you see where I'm going?
yeah, yeah, I got your idea. Yeah, I think the whole reason why I'm just so talking about this is because growing up, I was told things which didn't make sense, you know. And I think I've always been this rebellious person who has this logical side. I'll always question it. It's not something I had to work hard on. It's kind of like a gift I was born with. So I didn't understand it, you know. And when I questioned my elders, I was swiftly, promptly made to be quiet. Like, you don't know, you're a child. We've lived our lives, we've met so many people, we've done so many things. So we know we are right. And what we are telling you, it's for your own good. So just listen to us, follow us. But to me, it did not make sense. For example, uh, why the hell should I cook because I'm a girl? Like, I get it. If you tell me, Daniel, Amina, you should cook because it's a survival skill, and that one day you might not have enough money to go to a big fancy restaurant, or just you might have health problems that for which you need to have specific nutrients and food. That is why you should learn it. But no, growing up, I was told I need to learn to cook because I'm a girl, which made zero sense to me. I was like,
Right.
so does that mean if I was a boy, you wouldn't tell me that? And everyone would just fall silent. And like, sure, boys cook, but you are a girl, it's your job. It didn't make any sense to me.
Right.
And this is just one small incident. And there are so many other incidents. But to be honest, it's come to a point that today I hate cooking. Like, I don't want to go to kitchen. I'll only go to kitchen if I have to get some food in my plate and come out of it.
Yeah.
If you tell me to cook, especially for people, it makes me no, I wouldn't say angry, but irritated, frustrated, like, please, I don't want to do this, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it's
So
been the little
do
things.
you feel that you are still holding on to that, for lack of a better word, I'm not sure it's the right word, resentment of being told as a little girl you have to learn how to cook? Do you feel like that's still that resentment of being labeled that way and put that way? is still living amongst you that you still don't feel comfortable walking into the kitchen and cooking?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think my fear is the moment I go into kitchen and I start cooking, everyone will be like, yes, good, very good, very good. And learn this, learn that, cook this, cook that. So I mean, I'm just afraid that if they just see me taking an initiative, even if it's just for myself, they'll start putting it, okay, good, now learn how to cook this because your future husband might want to eat this. I
Right,
hate it. I can't cook that.
right,
But no, you have to learn to cook because your husband might like it and love it. Like, I don't even know if he's born yet, even he exists. Why should I put myself through so much pain for someone else who I don't even know? So yeah, I'm afraid of that.
right.
And I'm just afraid that that encouragement will lead to more resentment, more anger, more frustration, and I just want to avoid that. I mean,
I
I've had a
understand.
brush with depression and you know self-harm, so I don't want to go in any direction that might hurt me.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm choking up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, this is what happens in this room. Rather than be sorry, can you tell me what you're feeling?
um it's such a small thing and I'm making a big deal out of it. Yeah.
Who says it's a small thing? For you, it doesn't seem like it's a small thing. Not right now in this moment. Why can't you
Mm, like
make
uh,
why can't you make as big a deal out of it as you want to make out of it?
I think it's the little things. It's not just the one thing. It's
Yeah,
a lot of little things. I wish it was just this one big thing that I
yeah,
could fight. But
yeah,
it's not. It's the little things. And it's the little things that have been put into my head since when I was a little girl. When I didn't have the understanding or the ability to think for myself.
yeah.
You're putting in conditioning in children that's hurting them and harming them when they're growing up. I think this is one of the reasons why I love to question the belief system. I love because I think a lot of problems in the world are arising because of this conditioning. We are
Yeah,
not allowing children to think for themselves. And when they start questioning, we shut them up.
yeah,
You know, it makes for everything. Like, why can I have a career that's risky? Like, why do I have to go for a stable job 9 to 5? Why can't I take a risk and go for a startup? I might fail, I might go broke, I'll have to probably sleep on streets. But let me try. Why are you stopping me? Why are you putting that thought inside of my head that safety is much more important than living a life? I
So,
think,
can I share with you something that I'm noticing?
yeah,
Um, and please know that if it doesn't make sense, just throw it into the trash.
yeah.
This is not what I normally do in this room, but it's just I'm feeling called to do it here. Um, I'm interested in knowing if what I'm seeing is possibly what you see also under a different perspective. It feels to me that you were brought up with quite a few, for lack of a better word, dogmatic beliefs around what you should be and what's right for you to do and what's wrong for you to do, which were put upon you without you want to say something. Did I say the wrong word? Are you
No, 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 no. I would say the problem arises because the way I was raised was with both the beliefs, with open curiosity,
okay?
question everything, explore, but at the exact same time, there were restrictions. So,
Okay.
growing up, even till date, I feel that yes, I have freedom, okay, but the freedom is like there's an invisible circle around me.
I
And
got
as long as I'm exploring in the safe boundaries of that circle, everything is fine. The moment I step on the line, that's when everyone just alerts. Okay, you're stepping on the
so
line. It's
so
simple.
I love that and thank you for clarifying that. Um, I truly believe that what we see in others and the way we see things is who we are also. Is there any truth to the thought that you give people a lot of freedom, but there's their freedom in a big circle?
Yeah,
So whose whose circle are you trying to burst through?
my own. I know there's a certain conditioning that I need to remove from myself.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many biases in me, so many thought processes in me that I still haven't identified in myself.
Yeah.
So my first job is to clear the hurdles and obstacles inside of myself.
Yeah.
Identify those limiting beliefs, identify those invisible circles, and break the barrier.
Yeah.
And every time I break one, I know there's another one waiting for me. And there's a strong possibility that I can reach the age of 80, 90, 100, and yet there will be some circles left. Because even as I'm talking to you right now, something or the other has happening, and it's subconsciously making a invisible circle inside of my head.
Yeah.
You know, it is constantly happening. There's so much influence. There's media, there's social media, there's politics, there's coronavirus, there's 100 million things. And I just cannot shut the door on those manipulations, because the only way I can say a permanent no is if I'm dead. But I'm not. I'm living, I'm thinking, I'm doing stuff. So that those invisible circles are continuously forming inside of my head.
Yeah.
So my job right now is to identify those invisible circles and break them, make them visible and break them.
Wow.
Because
So let me ask you a question because I love how honest you are, and I love this idea of these invisible circles that need to be dismantled. What about doing it a different way? Is there any other possible way you see that those circles could vanish without you breaking them?
yeah, I do that.
How would
Uh,
how what would another way of doing it look like?
yeah, and I'm actually doing that. So the thing is, I realize who is the reason I had this invisible circle inside my head. I identify those people and I say, can I build and nurture my relationship with them in a certain way that I'm able to show them, look, this is limiting, this is constricting, and this needs to go away. Because if this doesn't go away, there will be a lot of problems in life.
Hmm.
If not for you, if not for me, there will be someone who's connected to me, possibly my friend, my partner, my child, who might get affected very adversely. So I try to nurture them with very loving, caring nature, you know.
Yeah.
Like they won't even know that I'm trying to influencing them in a way to make them look like, okay, see, this is the invisible circle, this is how it's stopping me, this is how it's stopping you, and this needs to go. Because I'm not breaking, I'm not hammering down, I'm like, I'm just creating tiny holes, and eventually tiny holes, tiny cracks, and one day you realize, you wake up and the circle's not there, it's vanished. I didn't
Wow.
have to break it, I just mended the relationship with that person.
Lovely.
Sometimes it's possible because it's your friends, it's your family. Other times it's not possible because you realize it's the media, it's the people you have never met with. You just scroll down on Facebook page and there are some opinions and there it's viral, and it's slow conditioning, because you know it's just, this is how it is. So one way is to either break it, or to either nurture the relationships in a way that it permanently goes away. And now when I meet someone, I know that that invisible circle is not going to be imprinted on you or someone else. And the other person with whom I mended my relationship, I also know that they will not imprint that invisible circle on those other people.
Love it.
I don't know if it's making any sense to you.
Yeah. Oh no, it makes a lot of sense. Let me change the context a little bit. Let's go to what I
Hmm.
call a lightning round. Um,
Okay.
are you a dog person or a cat person?
Cat person.
Cat person. Are you coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea. Um, are you a do you exercise or not exercise?
Depends on my mood.
Okay. And when you exercise, do you do cardio or do you do weights?
um I don't like cardio, but sometimes I have to do, uh, because I'm learning kung fu. So it's a
Kung
mix of
fu.
both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I'm not great. Don't worry. I'm not
Okay.
great.
But
If I
that's
had to
cool that
save
you're
my
learning
life,
it.
I can't save my life with my kung fu skills.
Would you say you are a conservative or a liberal?
Somewhere in between, but trying to become liberal.
Wow. How come?
Like tell you, I know there are some invisible circles inside of me, and
Gotcha.
I know that they're limiting me. You know, like for example, going to the kitchen. uh, It may not be conservative to everyone else around the world, but for me, deeply it's conservative, and I'm trying to break that.
Love it.
Yeah, there's that.
Love it. Um, in the world that we live in right now,
Hmm.
both of these things are really important, but I want you to answer not what you think the right answer is, but what's really true for you.
Okay.
And you probably both of them will be true for you, but what's more true for you right now in this moment?
Hmm.
Do you believe it's more important for you to be able to stand up and know what your voice is and have a voice and speak your voice and be heard? Or do you believe it's more important to be quiet and let others speak their voice and for you to be able to listen to that voice?
Yeah, you're right, both. uh, it depends. If what is happening around me is affecting me in a negative way, then I will stand up. I will put my voice out there. It may start very small, a little voice, but I will make sure the voice is there. And if I'm in a situation where I see I'm perfectly fine, but someone else is going through trouble and they need to speak up, then I'll sit quiet and I'll let that person speak, because I know what it feels like having lots to say but having no one to listen to you. So yeah, it will depend on situation. I'm not going to give you one fixed answer because there is no one fixed answer.
Okay. So, do you tend to only speak up when you're upset about something?
No.
Okay. I'm happy I asked that because it sounded like that's what you were saying. What is it that you would like to say if you had a chance to speak right now and people were to listen to you?
Question yourself, your friends, your family, your beliefs, uh, everything from why do you eat what you eat to why do you study what you study. Just question. And
Beautiful.
when you question and you realize that, be honest with yourself, okay? And when you realize that something is wrong, something is bad, have that courage to work on yourself. Have that courage to be kind and loving person. At the exact same time, be able to tell to the world I was wrong and now I'm working on myself and I need help. So can you help me? That's it.
Love
Everything,
it.
I think if you do that, every problem in life will be solved. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I feel.
I love it. Do you believe you're a leader or a follower?
Um, sometimes I'm both. I mean, I, I honestly haven't thought about that much. I like to follow people. If I know someone is really good at something better than me, I will keep my mouth shut and I will follow them. But I will definitely give my opinion if I think what they are doing is wrong. But yeah, I'll follow them because I know they have a lot to teach me. But if I think that uh, I am more empowered, more knowledgeable in some areas of life as compared to other person, I will definitely guide them and I will lead them. But yeah, I wouldn't classify myself as either a follower or a leader. I'm a mix of both, and sometimes I'm nothing, none of them. I'm just me,
Yeah.
crazy, stupid me.
Have you felt in life that you fit into the world that you live in, or do you feel like you're different?
Not fitting in.
Not fitting in.
Never. I've tried to find my tribe, as I like to put it. Um, at first, it was joining a group of people who like to talk, Toastmasters. I thought I'd find there. I didn't. Then I thought about people who like philosophy, psychology. Uh, to some extent, when you're talking about those things, yeah, I fit in, but most of the time I don't. I feel very, I don't have a tribe. I feel like that. Like, yeah, I'm connecting with you on some terms, I'm connecting with someone on some other terms, but I wouldn't necessarily call them my people, my tribe. So I'm still looking
What would it take to find your tribe?
to put my voice out there and ask, is there someone who's just like me or
Wow.
quite similar to me?
So if you had the platform right now, because people
Hmm.
were listening to you, to put your voice out
Hmm.
there and ask for your tribe, what would you say?
Are you one of those people who are ready to question yourself, change for better, face hard truths, hard questions, go down to your deepest, darkest secrets? Are you ready to work on yourself? If yes, I would love to connect with you because that's the journey I'm on. Yeah, that's what it is.
Beautiful. Um, do you believe people are more similar than they are different, or more different than they are similar?
Depends on how you look. You know, if I'm on my mission, on a journey to look at everyone who's different than me, then every single person I come across is going to be different. Even my own family is going to be different. But if I'm on a mission to look the similarities, then no matter who I come across, I'll find some similarity between me and them. So it depends. What are you looking for?
I love that answer. I don't think anybody's ever given me that answer. I like it very much.
Thank you.
Um, do you believe we've talked a little bit about listening to others and about having a voice? Do you believe that things that we normally don't assume to have a voice might have a voice? Do you believe, for instance, the environment is speaking to us? Do you believe that God is speaking to us in the situations we're in? Do you think our bodies are speaking to us? Do you believe our workplaces are speaking to us? Do you believe that those things have voices?
Yes. All of those have voices. All of those are continuously speaking. We fail to listen. We fail to stop and observe and make an attempt to listen or to see.
Yeah, I love that. So, from what you hear when you listen,
Hmm.
what do you think the world is trying to say to us? Because we're going through some hard times right now. At least in America, we have a Me Too movement. I think it's spreading around the world. We have a civil rights movement where people of color are saying our voices matter too. We have a pandemic that is isolating us and keeping us. What do you think the world's trying to say to us right now?
I think it's saying us two things. I mean, it's saying many things, but I like to boil it down to two. First is take a good look at yourself. You know, look at what you've done, look at what you've been doing, and look where it has got you today. If we had taken care of our planet, our earth wouldn't be suffering so much. If we had taken care of our belief systems and questioned them at the right time and worked on them at the right time, we wouldn't be seeing Me Too or the civil rights movement. You know, if we had just, so take a good look at what you've done, what you've been
Yeah,
thinking, what you've not done, what you've not thought about. Take a good look. And second is, even with all the horrible things going on, look at the good side. Look that people are coming together in masses to stand up for what is right. Yes, it's a little too late for some people. Like for the people who lost their lives, it's late for them, but it's not late for the millions of people who could have had the same fate. So look at the good things that are happening, and if you believe in that, and if you think you have a voice, you can support it in even a little way, tiny way. Join it. Look at the good things, look at the good side of the humanity and join, become a part of it. So it's saying both things.
I love the answers you're giving and the way your mind thinks.
Thank you.
Do you also believe that this world is trying to say something to you that it wants you to hear personally?
Yes,
What do you think that
it's
is?
it's saying me, I mean, it's high time you stopped being scared of criticism, of what other people think, of failure, and do what needs to be done. There's a message inside of you that may not resonate with every single person on this planet, but there's a strong possibility that it might resonate with just one person. So just bring that message out, and you might just end up one person. And guess what? You know who I think that one person? It's me. My message is my healing, it is my medicine. So if I end up changing my life for good, voila, perfect, mission accomplished. But in the process, if I am able to spread a little goodness, a little kindness, a little optimism, yeah, that's awesome. So just, it's high time you become yourself and show the world who you really are, and forget about the consequences. Things will take care of themselves.
I
They
want to
always
ask.
do.
I want to ask you a question. Do you realize how your voice changed in the course of the time we've been talking? Do you realize how the
Yeah.
tone? Do you? What do you see as the change that's happened?
um, when you're asking me difficult questions that I have, in my difficult questions for me, it's showing me the areas that I need to work on. It's making me sad. Okay. But then you're asking me questions that I've been waiting to answer. And like, finally, someone asked that question, like right now. So I'm pretty happy and excited. And there are days when I'm like, some questions that you asked were like, I'm glad that someone thinks that this is the kind of conversation that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they're so closed. No, 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 I don't want to talk about this. This is too difficult. This is too controversial. I don't want to talk about this. And so, it's difficult to have very open conversations. So I'm excited when people are ready to just listen that thing and talk about that stuff.
I love it.
And you're
Can,
asking the right questions.
thank you. Without even my question list, I like that. Can I share with you something that I saw? Is that okay with you?
Sure. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and please feel free to throw it in the trash if it doesn't resonate. Okay. As I listened to you over the course of this hour, your voice changed from a sort of, there was a little bit of a harshness in your voice. There was a little
Hmm.
bit of a pain in your voice of not being heard and of not being listened to, and sort of feeling of I've got to tell people what I believe. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
And
definitely.
and as we spoke, and you felt the space to be able to that you were listened to, I felt this beautiful softness to your voice that started to take over, and that softness has so much more magnetism than the harshness. It has so much more love than the sort of um, dictating what people should do. There was just such a generosity of your heart that opened up, and it took what, less than an hour of sitting here talking with each other and listening to each other. What are you
Yeah,
feeling
I
right now?
can't. Um, Glad that I took the advice of my friend and I connected with you. And that you're doing an amazing job. It's not every day you come across people who are just ready to listen to you with your
Yes.
ups and downs. And I'm not sure if it's visible, but I'm kind of crying again.
Yes, that's what I saw. I
Yeah,
saw that you were crying, and I was wondering
yeah.
why. What brought those tears?
These are tears of happiness.
Yeah,
You know. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's it. And I can't believe it's been an hour. I'm looking at the time right now. And it's like, seriously? Some days I wish like, oh, please will this session end? I cannot listen to this anymore. I cannot talk anymore. And now when I'm finally enjoying it, I'm like, okay, time's up.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be the end of our conversations. It's just as the end of this one. And
Okay.
what I want people who are listening to see is, look how important it is just to give people the space to be able to say what they believe and to be heard. Look at how Amina, look at the whole beautiful transformation of someone who was beautiful in the beginning, but even more beautiful now as we gave that space for her to be seen. And feel how much it means to her through the tears that she shed. And I really want to encourage us, all of you who are listening, to, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends, because in sharing something you like with people you like, those things grow. And it isn't that I want this show to grow as much as I want this to grow. I want the challenge that I give to each of you to be the challenge that grows. That you take time in the course of your life to find one person, maybe more than one person, but one person who you don't know, who you open up the space to invite them into your room, and
You
invite
know,
them to
Daniel, this is a gift you're giving to people, a gift that cannot be compared with any riches. You know,
thank
I
you.
could go give some money to a person who's actually who's there to listen, a therapist, a psychologist, and still somewhere you'll find that judgment.
Yeah,
It's important to give that space and to listen to people. And what you are doing is amazing. You know,
thank you.
while I was talking, I didn't realize, okay, I had all of this in me. It's suddenly coming from a place that I didn't know existed.
Yeah,
So for me, this is really a gift that you've given me,
thank you.
and I don't think I'll ever be able to repay you the gift that you've given me. So
You
that's what I
never
want to
have
share.
to. You never have to repay me. It's just,
Pay it forward.
yeah, that's right. And it's not. It. The beauty is when it's just so simple. What I realized is that everybody in the world wants to be loved and accepted, listened to and heard, and acknowledged and validated for what they believe. Nobody ever asked me in 65 years to believe what they believe. Because when I've been able to love and accept them and acknowledge and validate them and listen to them and hear them, they don't need me to believe like they believe. They know that I have crazy beliefs of my own. But we come together because we respect each other and love each other and accept each other.
Yeah,
And what I want to invite you to do, Aaminah, the way you can pay me back for this is to find somebody to have a conversation with just like this, where you just listen to them. Pay it forward, as you said. And for those of you who
definitely.
are listening, I want to invite you and challenge you to do that same thing. Find someone you don't know, whether it's virtually or in person, and sit with them and just ask them to tell you about themselves. You can have a list of questions or you can lose your list of questions like I did somehow today. Doesn't matter. All that matters is you have the heart here to just say, please tell me who you are and tell me what you think and tell me why you think what you think. And what Aaminah's beautiful honesty showed us today is and here's a person who questions what she believes. And it's very important for her to question what she believes. But in listening to the words that she said, there were some things that she didn't even know she believed. There are things that she heard for perhaps the first time coming through her in the way they were coming through her, which is really just a beautiful gift of when we hold the space to listen, people are able to hear themselves. I often say in this room, what happens is when I hold the space for people to be who they are, everything they're not falls away. And they see it falling away too. It's not dangerous, it's not hard. It's just they're safe to be who they are and they don't need to carry who they're not anymore.
Yeah.
And listen to the beautiful transformation of Aaminah's voice. And even now, as we're talking, feel the depth of her heart. That was the brilliance of her mind was always obvious. Can you feel the depth of her heart in the way she just said, yeah? Can you feel how that just transformed in this moment? It's always been there. It just hasn't been given the opportunity because of something else. Amina, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for being so open and so real and so vulnerable, and 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 for the transformation that you showed everybody in front of us, which is your glory. And
Thank you.
my honor. And I want to thank those of you who listened for listening. Um, what a beautiful thing happens in this room.
Definitely. Thank you, Daniel. Like I said, I don't know how to thank you.
You have
uh,
done it. You've done it multiple times already.
this is something amazing that you're doing, and yeah, I think I'll recommend this to a lot of my friends who I know.
Thank you.
I don't know who needs it. Everyone just wears this perfect face. I'm happy. I'm confident. I'm doing great in life, and you don't really know anything. And sometimes even they don't know it. And it takes an experience like this for them to realize, oh my God, I desperately needed this. I just never knew.
Yeah, I love that.
Hmm?
Thank you for your beautiful heart and sharing that with me. I so appreciate it. So for those of you
Thank you.
listening at home, thank you again for listening. Share it. Um, and Aaminah, how can people get in touch with you if they want to become part of your tribe that you're forming?
Uh, I'm mostly operate out of LinkedIn and Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. So after we get off, would you be kind enough to send me a headshot of you and also your links to Instagram and LinkedIn?
Sure, definitely. Just a very kind of stupid question. What is the headshot?
A headshot is a picture of your face, so that I can put it on the
Okay, okay.
cover. I can put it on the cover of the episode that we're going to use.
Okay, okay, cool.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
All right. All right. Those of you again,
Definitely.
until the next stranger comes into this room, when we open up our hearts and allow people to share with us who they are, strangers become friends. And living in a
Yeah.
world of friends is so much different than living in a world of strangers. I invite all of you to go out and find a stranger and invite them to be your friend by just listening to them. Because what we do for our friends is so different than what we do for a stranger. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Aaminah, again, thank you for showing up so beautifully.
Thank you.
And until the next
Thank you.
stranger comes along, don't be strangers, be friends. Ciao.
Definitely.